Hello friends, this video is for fairy bells and we are coming up on the spring equinox. So living in the Midwest, usually the first day of spring is not the most glorious. We still are experiencing really cold weather with a sprinkle of nicer days mixed in. So one thing that I think, have a lot of is hope. Hope that warmer days will come and our seedlings will grow and we will be experiencing summer before we know it. These fairy bells, I kind of have two ways that you could go and you can decide what's best for your home. I will explain each way, but here is a example of the fairy bells with some beads attached. I have not finished this one yet, but the kit is meant to be 3 bells attached kind of as one strand, if you will, and I'll explain why they are beaded the way they are, especially this one is a good example. I'll explain that in just a moment here. So the two ways that you could do this is since we're still experiencing a variety of weather, you can hang these fairy bells outside, and usually just like a wind chime, when the wind's blowing, you will hear the bells ring. However, it has been studied. I've read a couple articles lately. There's something about the joy and the moment of wonder that your child experiences something for the first time or multiple times. I guess it doesn't have to be the first time, but bringing joy to their world or wonder. Or the most recent one I read about was awe. To have them experience a moment of awe is really fantastic. It takes their minds elsewhere. I will try to find some of the articles I've read and post them for you to read those as well. But joy and wonder and moments of awe are just magical moments that we can give our kids. So the one way that these bells work as fairy bells is when you hang them outside and you hear the weather making them ring, is that at some point you may actually hear the bell ring and not know why it rang. That moment of wonder or joy, maybe you run over with them to see, why did the bell ring? You can, wonder with them. And if you like to bring up the stories of fairies, then maybe it was the fairy. It's a joyous time that a fairy rang your bell, right? The other thing is that kind of thought of this as I was putting these kits together, but tying them on like this made me think of when I was a child. We had wish bracelets, and they usually were like a friendship bracelet. So they would either be made with like a hemp twine or a twine, where eventually over time the twine would fall apart. So you would wear them like as a bracelet or a anklet, and you would not take them off. You would shower with them, they would dry, so they're wet and then dry. And eventually the beads that are on them fall off. And once they've all fallen off, your wish is supposed to come true. So I thought tying them on this way and hanging them outside so that they can get weathered would be a great time to make wishes for the spring, or make wishes during the spring for the summer. And you would tie a bead on and make a wish. So maybe this is that you will go on a special trip. And maybe this one you guys decide that you are going to have, what you're going to have in your garden, what you wish for, hope for in your garden. So you can make any wishes as a family or just your child alone. And then when you hang them outside, as the twine weathers and the beads fall off, then their hopes and wishes are supposed to come true. We shall see. It's also a good lesson in, good things come to an end. So our summers come to an end, and then we experience darkness. Excuse me. So it's a good thing to teach children as well that, not everything that you play with or make will always stay together, but it can be rebuilt, right? So there's extra beads that come in the kit. If your beads fall off, you can use these again next spring and make some wishes and hang them outside and do it all over again. So if you are making one kit with one child, you will put the 3 strands together like so. But some people will use a single strand for individual children. So there's 3 strands in the kit, and then each child will basically make their own strand. And so there's 3. So you could use this for up to 3 children. So first things first, you're just going to tie the bell on to at this point, you're going to tie them on all individually, okay? For the sake of making this video, I'm only making 1 knot. I suggest you make 2 or 3. Tie it on tightly. 1 bell to each strand, regardless of how you're doing this. I'll show you in my example here. Each bell still has their own strand. So start out that way. Now, if you're doing all 3 bells together, you would go to this end for you. You would take all 3 strands once you have the bells tied together, and you're just going to tie the 3 together in 1 knot. Okay, so this is my knot at the bottom to hold these 3 bells together. Then you can start threading on beads. Now, the reason, again, why I have it only threaded onto 1 piece of twine is so that this 1 piece of twine will have to weather before the bead falls off. Otherwise, if I put it on all 3 of these, it would take quite a while for all 3 strands of twine to weather and for the bead to fall off. So it's trying to give it a little bit more of a easier chance to fall off for those hopes and wishes. So the twine can be a little bit thicker than the beads that were included. So I have included a threader, okay, and you can push on it a little bit to kind of flex that outward because we're working with a thicker twine. But what you're actually going to do, excuse me again, is, let's see, we'll do this one. Actually, no, that one fits on just fine. I'll do a smaller one here. You're actually going to put the bead on the threader, and then you will stick your twine through the threader. Okay, another tip, fold it in half so it's not fraying all over. Okay, so you have it through the threader, and then you're just going to push the bead onto the twine and keep pulling. Again, we're only putting it on 1 piece of the 3, okay? But I tie a knot after each bead or set of beads that are on there so it stays together. So I'm going to just take all 3 again and tie. Oops, I lost one. Put them all together. Okay, so now our 1 bead is on 1 piece of thread. Excuse me, 1 piece of twine, and the other 2 pieces are just hanging there. Okay, so you can continue to do that and make your wishes if you'd like, or hopes as you go. For the individual ones, of course, they will just thread on their beads. You can knot them just like the other one as you go, and then they can hang that one up as well. Now, if their beads fall off, it probably means that the whole piece of single twine has broken. So that is up to you again if you want to do it that way. That's more of a that's more of a friendship bracelet way, I would say, because usually the whole bracelet might break and then your wish would come true. But obviously the bells are not going to fly away. They're heavy enough, they'll fall to the ground, that you can pick them back up and you guys can start all over again. You are more than welcome to obviously hang this inside your home as well, near a door even, or on a handle if you want to hear them ring. Completely up to you. So I think that's all we have. If you have any questions, obviously just send me a message. And I really love the idea of this kit. Let me know what you think, how it goes, and if your hopes or wishes come true. Thanks, my friends. Bye-bye.